Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Anna Lindsay Show, where I am your host. You know, I'm here on demand. I'm here with Clark TV Network, so make sure you tune in with us. You guys, every week I am here with amazing people and again, sharpening iron. You know what they say?
Iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron, and that's what we're going to do today. Dr. Bernard Jennings, welcome to the Anna Lindsay Show.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation.
You are so welcome. We have gotten a chance to talk and get a chance to know one another and found that we have a lot of things in common,
Yes, it's
right?
amazing, right?
It is, and that's what you do when you get a chance to.
I feel like I've known you for like months.
Yeah, yeah, and that's true. I love when that happens, that connection happens.
hmm
I want to tell the audience. A lot of people already know you. You have made a stand, a mark in our world, have made a great impact and have done a lot of changes. Let's just start with you being able to change legislation.
Yeah, so it's called the Good Dad Act. It was born out of a personal, uh, I'd say, issue that I had
Yeah.
a couple of years back, and I have a son that's 10 years old now. At the time he was 7, and I was dating his mom. We weren't married. We dated for a while. And when he was 5 years old, we decided we weren't going to date anymore. I took care of my son primarily most of the time. We, I was there at his birth. I had him in a private school. I had my weekends with him. She had weekdays. I had weekends, so we could switch time.
Mhm.
And then as life went on, she was dating other people, doing her thing. I was doing my thing. And I decided I wanted to be engaged and married to someone else and sent out a wedding invitation that summer. And she must have gotten wind of it. And then all hell broke loose. She decided she wasn't going to co-parent with me anymore. She didn't say she was upset because of that, but that's the only thing that happened during that time that was different about me. And she picked up my son from school one day on my visitation. It was a Friday. I went to go pick him up and he was no longer there. The teacher said, "Oh, he's gone. His mother withdrew him this morning." I'm like, "What?"
Wow.
But it's Friday. I'm supposed to be picking up. It's 3:30. She bring them back? No, she withdrew him. I mean, withdrew him as in if he's not coming back. Well, what school is she sending him to if she withdrew him? She didn't say. So like you can imagine my my like stomach, the pain in my
Yeah.
stomach felt like, hey,
Yeah.
this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And like a couple of weeks before that, at the time my son was, like I said, 7. And kids say the darndest things. We were in the car one day and he was like, "Dad, if I move away to like another state to Texas, would you be upset about that?" And I was driving like, let me answer him properly on this, not just let it blow by. I was like, well, yeah, I would be upset with that because if you move to Texas, I'm in Florida, and I won't be able to see you every day, and I want to see you every day of the
Uh,
week, and Texas is kind of far.
yeah.
So yeah, if you moved away to Texas, I wouldn't like that. I don't want you to do that. He was like, "Okay, I thought you didn't care if I moved away." I said, "Okay." I said, "Why'd you say that?"
Yeah.
"Well, my mom said we might move one day, and I thought maybe if we moved to Texas, you wouldn't care." "Oh no, I would care."
Hmm.
Apparently, she was dating somebody from Texas. I just left it alone. I never said anything to her about it because kids say I mean, kids like are brilliant. They come up with stuff, questions all the time that you can't take everything to heart. So this months later, when this happened, I was devastated that he was not there. So I immediately got on the phone and tried to call her. She didn't answer the phone. I called her mom. Her mom didn't answer the phone. I had a great relationship with her father at the time. So I called him. He answered the phone right away. "Hey, Bernard," I said, "Listen, I'm looking for your daughter. I'm here to pick him up from school, and he's not here. They said that she withdrew from school. Do you know what's going on?" He was, "Oh no, let me call her and see." He had a little slight accent. "Call her, let me see, and I'll call you back." So I waited about 5 minutes, and I started to head home. And I distinctly remember the conversation. He goes, "Listen, I talked to her. I don't know what's going on between you two, but I don't have nothing to do with it. She says that she did take him from school and she's not bringing him back there, but you need to talk to her about it.
Hmm.
This is your problem, not mine. I got my
Hmm.
own problems. You guys work it out." I'm like, "Okay, but what is she saying? Where did she move to?" Because she already moved from her place where she resides. She sold her townhouse and she moved, and she never told me where she moved to. So there's already things going on with that. And I was just like, wow. So I tried to call a couple of her friends. They were covering for her. No one would answer to say where she was. So some time went on. about a month went on where I couldn't find my son. So I
Oh,
finally
wow.
was able to go to the Dade County Court. I'm in Florida, and was able to get a hearing before a judge. And the judge said, "Well, Mr. Jennings, I see that you filed your motion to have time with your son for visitation, but your name is on the birth certificate. By the time I went and got a DNA test on my own, it's like very sentimental. I kept his teeth for me small in a little uh, Ziploc bag.
Just something you would ordinarily, I mean, you just did
I did it because I
because,
did it for my own teeth.
yeah,
If I
yeah,
did it for him, you
yeah.
keep it in a little baggie. And I had his toothbrush. I took it to a place and I did a swab and paid for it to get the DNA test to
Uh-huh.
make sure in case I go to court. So finally I was denied the hearing in court, and I finally got the hearing in court. And then judge said, Miss Jennings, I see what you're saying here, but you don't really have any rights. You're on the birth certificate. The DNA test said that you have a high probability of being the father. You're 99.99991 can't be excluded.
Uh-huh.
But in the state of Florida, if you don't establish paternity, you don't have any father's rights. Like, well, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, yeah,
I've
really.
been
But
involved in this since he was a child, since he was a birth. I've been involved. I got pictures to show you. Yeah, but in the state of Florida, you have to have a trial. You have to go to court. You have to serve her, and go to court. And it's going to be a trial. And the judge determines that you have paternity, which means you have a financial responsibility.
mhm.
I said, okay, well, how long will that take? And how soon can we do that? Because my son needs to see me. He's used to seeing me every week, and I haven't seen him now for a month. And how do
I
I
don't
bring
know
the
what's
process?
going
And
on.
what happens after that? When do I get visitation? Because, well, hold up, going too fast. You have to establish paternity. It can take between 6 months, a year, depends what's going on, the room of the court is. And then you have to serve her again after that to establish visitation.
Mhm.
And there's been some allegations that she's made against you here in the court, and in the domestic violence court, I'm understanding. So it may be some time before you see your son. You have to go through the process. So like, okay, well, I tried to serve her to come to this hearing. I couldn't serve her. That's why we're on a Zoom call now. Can you give me an order for her to serve me? No, but you can ask them if they'll accept service. So I asked, at the time she had an attorney, I didn't have an attorney. So I asked the attorney, it was all online. I said, will you accept service on her behalf? Her attorney said, no, I'm not going to accept service because I haven't had a chance to confer with her about that. I said, Your Honor, can I ask my son's mother if she'll accept service? And I asked her, and her attorney cut off. I'm not going to let her answer that question because I haven't had time to confer with her. So she's not accepting service either. I said, Your Honor, can you give me an order for them to accept service? Now, when I did that, I knew she was going to say no, but I asked anyway. Just said, no, no, I cannot do that. If you want to serve her, you have to hire a lawyer, hire a private investigator, find her, and serve her the appropriate documents. I'm like, Your Honor, she moved from where she lived. She actually gave a fake address to the court when I tried to serve her to come here today, and it couldn't be done. Sorry, Miss Jennings, nothing I can do for you. Have a nice day. There's
Wow.
nothing I can do. And she ended the Zoom call. So I remember today very specific. I was on my laptop and I shut my laptop down. I just kind of looked into space. You ever watched Batman movie and the show the face of the Joker, how he's got this nervous
Hmm.
laughter, just like
Hmm.
he's like almost manic.
Yeah.
I felt that. I felt that's how I looked.
Hmm.
I was being polite with the judge because she was letting me answer my questions, being kind of cordial. I thought she wouldn't help me, but then I realized, wait a minute, this is crazy.
You're not getting anywhere.
This is crazy. How can I not have any rights at all? The law says what? Because the lawyer said, the law is on her side. She doesn't have to do any of this.
Hmm.
Matter of fact, he can just walk away. He doesn't have to participate. He doesn't have to pay child support because he doesn't have any rights to the child. I was like, what?
Even though you established paternity, that you are the father, you
Well,
still.
I didn't at that time. I
At
didn't
that
establish
time.
paternity because the law wasn't changed.
Okay.
So when I
Oh,
closed,
okay. So this is where you come
where I
in.
come in,
This is
so
where you come in,
I thought
making.
about it, and
Okay.
in the instant, I thought about one of my father's friends. His name is Omar. He lives in Naples, Florida. And when I was around 12 years old, I remember him having an argument with his girlfriend. Her name was Lisa at the time, and he had a little daughter that was 7 when it happened.
Okay.
And I remember that he had an argument with her, and he had a criminal record out of New York. He was, good guy, bad guy. And he had a domestic violence allegation against him from her, and he couldn't see his daughter. And then he violated the DV, and they said if he ever goes around him or the daughter again, that he was going to go to jail because he had a prior conviction for something in New York. and he was going to go to jail for 20 years if he violated.
Oh, wow.
So he had written off violating that. And he hadn't seen his daughter in all those years. As of today, his daughter's like 35, 36 years old. He doesn't know where she lives, and he's never seen his daughter since she was 7. And the pain that he had from not seeing his daughter, he would express it to my dad and talk about how he missed his daughter. It's a beautiful little girl. I remember as a kid growing up, because I was 12 at the time. And I thought about that. I said, and when that happened to him, I didn't do anything about it because it's not my problem. I was just a kid growing up.
You couldn't relate.
Yeah, you're right. But that snapped in my head. I said, wait a minute. I know how to change the law, because as a kid growing up, I remember that show, Schoolhouse Rock. Remember Schoolhouse Rock?
I do remember it.
The little kid, a little piece of paper, there was a bill. It says, I'm only a bill. I'm standing here on Capitol Hill. And the song just came in my head. I was like, I know how the bill becomes law. I'm a public administration major. I got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. I went to college. I know what to do. I know elected officials. I'm going to change the law. So open up my laptop, and my wife was standing in front of me. And she walked out, and she came when I get angry. She walked out. She came back in. She goes, "Yeah, you can do it. Do what you do." So I sat down. I started writing a proposal, doing some research over the next couple of days, and then I called a couple of legislatures, members of the Miami-Dade Legislative Caucus, asking them if they would sponsor the bill. Unfortunately, in Florida, a member of the House only has 7 pieces of legislation per session. And this was already, at the time, this was September. So they probably had their summer meetings deciding what they were going to do. And they, Bernard, sorry, I don't have enough room. I've already got my stack in. And I got a hold of this one legislature. His name is Christopher Benjamin. Happened to have gone to the same undergrad that I went to. And I called him. He had just got elected that August. I said, Chris, I need you to pass some legislation for me. He goes, what is it? So I described to him what happened to me in short. He goes, send it to me and let me send it up to the legislative committee in Tallahassee. And if they think it's legally sufficient, I'll see if I have room for it. Finished it over the couple of days, sent it to him. About a week later, it was like 7:30 in the morning. He called, Bernard, I got a call for the committee. They like your proposal. They're going to accept it.
Wow.
And they said it's legally sufficient. I'm going to see if I can get a sponsor on the Senate side. I spoke to the Speaker of the House, and he said, if I can get a sponsor on the Senate side, then he'll let it go to the House floor if it passes through both committees. By this time, it was sometime in October of that year. The representative got gentleman by the name of Yarborough on the Senate side, Republican. On this side, Christopher Benjamin is Democrat. And the governor of Florida is a Republican, DeSantis. It went through 6 committees on the House side, 6 committees on the Senate side, no opposition. Went through a lot of stuff during court during that time. 8 months later, the law changed.
Wow.
3 weeks before it went into effect, July 1 of 2023, the governor signed it into law. It's called House Bill 775, Parental Responsibility After the Determination of Paternity. In short, they called it the Good Dad Act, Ethan's Good Dad Act.
Ethan's, which is your son's
Which
name.
means son's name.
Yes. Ethan, you have a book.
I have a book that I wrote about it. And what the law says is that when a father steps up and he's already in the birth certificate, he already signed the acknowledgement of parenting at the hospital or after the birth, him and the mother must have got along because they agreed that he's the parent, that he no longer needs a judge to determine that he has paternity. He established his own paternity by petitioning the court or having been petitioned by the other party to come to court for child support, and then the paternity is established. In the past, like I said, you have to file in court, have a hearing, go through different, paying a lawyer, and then the judge declares you a father. During this time of when I was in court, from the time when the judge said I had no rights, I had to go. It wasn't until December that the judge established my paternity. I had some hearings after that initial hearing where I had to go back and was able to serve her over the summer. It was during the hurricane that we had that summer. I was able to get her served by finding out where she lived. I had to figure out where she lived, and I had a process server go to her house the day of the hurricane, and they served her that day. And it wasn't until sometime, I think it was December the 9th of that year, 2022, that the judge declared me the father. That means now I get to start the process over again for visitation. And the judge gave me temporary visitation. I was very fortunate compared to a lot of dads. They don't get that. And then I was able to have my weekends again through the trial. And I went, the law passed July 1. I started the Good Dad Act Committee online and with other fathers. Another law passed in the October after that July called House Bill 1301 called time sharing that said that when a father steps up because of House Bill 775, the Good Dad Act says that a father steps up, he has the same rights and responsibilities as the mother. They're equally. They have the presumption of equality coming into court. He has the same right to education decisions, to time sharing decisions, to health care, religious, all of that. And then 1301 says that when he steps up, because of that, he has 50 rights to timeshare. So as long as he lives within 50 miles of where the jurisdiction where the child is, he's entitled to 50% timeshare with a rebuttal presumption from the mom. So in the past, the father had to go to court and prove who he was, prove he's a good dad.
Okay.
Now she has to prove he's a bad dad, which is a different burden of proof. It's almost like criminal court to the exclusion of the reasonable doubt that he's bad.
Yeah.
So you have to prove that, it can't be, well, he's a liar. We dated and he cheated on me with my friend. It doesn't matter. He could be a liar. He could be a cheater. He could be a bad boyfriend, but that does not mean he's going to be a bad dad.
And this is what it's all about for you. I mean, I didn't know that first part of your story as far as having that experience with the gentleman you were talking about who was not able to see their kid. Did that come to your mind? I'm not going to ever see my kid again?
That came to my mind in an instant. Oh my God, I'm not going to be a deadbeat. And there's this other athlete that you probably saw on TVs, a lot of talk shows where he's crying that he hadn't seen his kid in so long, and the kid grew up, the kid's like 15 years old, and the kid's cussing him out, like, where are you missed my prom, you missed this and that, because of you, I didn't get to do this. It was like, I didn't know where you were. Your mother took you away, and I didn't know where you were. She took you to another county. You didn't try hard enough. You didn't care. If you cared, you could have found me. I've been here the whole time. I was only one county away. And I don't know what that scenario was.
But it happened to you.
That was not going to be my narrative.
But it happened to you. You didn't know.
I didn't know.
You didn't know.
And she was actually another county away where she moved to, and I had no idea where she was. I was able to finagle some information from friends to figure out some stuff, and I figured out where she was. But so many people go through what I went through. I realized in my research trying to change the law that, listen, they don't have the resources. They don't have it. I'm like, how many people really know that you can call a state representative and ask them to pass a bill? I knew that. I knew that because of like the Schoolhouse Rock, and I knew how bill becomes law. And then, just being active in the community, I knew representatives, and I was able to call them, although I got a bunch of no's, but then I got a yes.
Yeah.
So it's not the first no, it's like sales. You can keep,
yeah,
not this one, it's the next one. So I was persistent in that. But so many dads, they have it bad.
Yeah.
And as much now as I realize I went through something, I didn't go through half of what a lot of these men. I've created a committee called the Good Dad Act Committee.
Yes.
And we meet every Tuesday night at 8:00 on a Google Meet. And I've got dads all around the state of Florida.
Every Tuesday night. And this is current. You were just on a call.
Last night.
Okay, talk about that. What do you guys do?
So we meet for just a 2-hour meeting. And the first hour, I bring in an attorney on, different attorneys, or I bring in a sitting judge or some practitioner to talk to these dads about how they should respond to a court order, how they should talk in court, how they should dress for court. You'd be surprised people go to court dressed in a t-shirt and think it's okay. And you have to have respect for the judiciary. And they don't know that. They don't know how to speak to the judge. They're intimidated by the judge. So we teach them that. And we have a website called gooddadact.com where we have a blog where it gives them different insight on how the behavior should be in court, how they should gather documents, prepare in court, also how to deal with the child. And this meeting that we have every Tuesday night, we've had 125 meetings since the first Tuesday after the bill passed. I started having these meetings, and fathers have come from all over the place. They've been impressed. If you Google Good Dad Act on Google, or if you go to YouTube and do a search for Good Dad Act, you'll see a lot of other attorneys and other people talking about it, and they're mentioning what I've done and the effect of the law and how it's now it's a movement across the country. Yeah. I've appointed team leaders in 16 other states. and counting. And since the law passed July 1, 2023, as of last week, Alabama just passed the Good Dad Act in Alabama. Patrick Sellers, the state representative there, passed, shepherded through the law. We passed a version of it in 6 states. Not every state have called it a Good Dad Act, but clearly, when you read the legislation, you understand what they're saying. They're talking about what happened in Florida.
Adopt it.
Yes.
Yeah, or influence.
So it happened in Florida, then Missouri, and then North Carolina, Tennessee, New Jersey was before them, and then Alabama now.
Yeah.
And I've got a call from the representative in the state of Georgia, and he said the Speaker of the House asked him to get a hold of me to try to help them pass the Good Dad Act in Georgia. Georgia is probably the worst state in the nation to have a child for a man, because Georgia has a trifecta. Most other places it's paternity and then visitation, but Georgia it's legitimization, paternity, and then visitation. And legitimization is from that old slave time when there was slavery, and the master of the plantation might have had sex with one of the slaves.
Okay.
And then imagine the slave grows up and then the master passed away, but that slave tried to exercise his rights to the father's inheritance, which would be the slave master. Well, he wasn't legitimate of that slave master, so the law said he wasn't entitled to any inheritance or anything like that. So that there would be a fight in court that this is a property of the master, not a beneficiary of the master.
I get it.
So you have to go to court and establish the legitimacy of the relationship with that woman to the man to determine whether or not he's entitled to paternity.
Wow.
And they haven't changed it in all these years. They've got a whole industry around legitimization in Georgia, and a whole industry around paternity, and a whole industry around visitation. So you have the judiciary and lawyers and counselors and mediators and benefiting from the breakup of the relationship through these three processes. So if we get Georgia to pass the Good Dad Act, I believe it will eliminate legitimization. It won't be necessary anymore.
Yeah.
And just go to paternity, and the Good Dad Act eliminates paternity. You just go straight to visitation.
This is more than just trying to make a point for you.
Yeah.
I mean, this is your blood. This is your seed. This is family. You know, let's just say that this is not about trying to make someone look bad or be bad, but this is about healing. This is about your future, your son's future, your influence in his life.
I mean, God has given this curse that has become a blessing for others, because I could have stopped what I'm doing when the judge ruled. I represented myself after the law passed. 8 months later, during a trial in court, I represented myself, and I declared to the judge that the law says that she hasn't met the burden of proof. I'm entitled to 50-50. The judge gave me 50-50. I have an order saying 50-50. I have my son from Friday morning till Friday afternoon the following week. I end my days at 1:15, no matter where I'm at, doing what I'm doing, pick him up from school, take him home, wash their hands, help with the homework, do dad, son things. Maybe I have a meeting to go to. He'll come with me, take him with me, come back. By 8, 9 o'clock, he's in bed. Sometimes a little later. He's 10 now. And, wash, rinse, and repeat. And it's a great week. He's improved in school. He's in a gifted program now. His reading is on par. He says that he's improved with math because of me. I don't know how that's because of me, because I was terrible at math in school, but that's what he says. And because I've given him the confidence by being a good dad to him, to help him understand that he can put his best foot forward to solve his problems and get it right. So, he's been improved in school. I kept him in the school in the other county because I felt like after a year being someplace else, it would be unfair for me to make him come back to the private school in another county, because he's already adjusted. So I kept him in the school.
So with his interest in mind still.
Yeah. And then he's now in the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence program, which is a program for young men started by Congresswoman Frederica Wilson, who's a member of Congress now. I'm a mentor in that program. 5,000 Role Models of Excellence started off as a 500 role models. That's 5,000 all over the country.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Tell us, let's talk about that a little bit. What does that program do?
So the program provides mentorship for young men, it brings fathers or men to schools in various schools, majority schools and minority schools, boys of various colors and backgrounds. They wear a red tie on Wednesdays with a white shirt and black pants and dress shoes, and they dress professionally to go to school on Wednesdays. Because if you're dressed the best, you're going to act the best, you're going to do your best. And these fathers come in or men come into the school and they have a particular day where they take them on field trips, or they gather them in a room and talk to them about leadership and talk about responsibility and being a good student as well as being a good citizen of the community. I go to my son's school now and I speak to, there's 24 role model students in his school.
Okay.
And then we go to
That's big.
Yeah.
Especially to get men.
Yeah. And we do a son or daughter day where we go to the school and they talk to the kids and have breakfast with them. I go to different schools, not just my son's school. I go to other schools in my county.
So this is opened up.
It's
opened
up. And Frederica Wilson started this. She was a principal at a school before she was a member of Congress. And I'm actually an elected delegate for her district, Congressional District 24. So I'm close with her.
Thank you.
And, yes. And then she's been very supportive of the program. It's all around the country. There's role model programs in California now. So it's helping inner city kids and other kids from little boys from around the country just grow to be better persons. And the kids that go through this through high school, we had 45s of them graduate high school in Dade County this past year. All 45 got accepted to college, got scholarships to go to college.
Just because dads are involved.
Because dads are involved in the program.
And this is part of what your mission, your vision. Just expand it. I mean, it came, like you said, it came
from my dad. So I had influence of my dad before he passed. My dad passed a couple of years back, and I was supposed to, my mom and dad were divorced too, but we were allowed to maintain a relationship with me. I went to live with my dad at the age of 12.
Okay.
And I learned how to be a worker for my dad. I learned how to be a worker for my mom too. I love my mom, love my dad, but I can't imagine not having a dad. My son says that now. He said, I can't imagine not having a dad. We need a dad, boys learn from men how to be men.
Yes.
A good man.
Yeah.
So it's been very important to me to maintain these meetings with fathers all around the country every Tuesday night to help them be able to access their children by accessing the court and knowing how to navigate in the court system. On our website, gooddaddict.com, we provide an ability for men having this issue to come get a membership for the year and then attend these Tuesday night meetings. That they need personal one-on-one counseling for myself or one of the men that are more seasoned in what's going on. We give this educational support to them. We don't give them legal advice, but based upon best practices. For a woman, if you have an issue in life, there's many places a woman can go. You can go to the government, you can go to organizations where if you need a place to live, they house you for a week,
resources,
put you on all kind of resources, TANF, SNAP. Be a man and need that.
Yeah.
You're out of luck. And men, we don't talk to each other about our problems with a failed relationship or that we can't see our kid. We'll talk about all things in the world, talk about business, talk about sports, talk about a deal, talk about work, but we're not going to sit there and whine to each other. Not even your very best friend, we don't talk about that. We kind of tough it out.
Yeah.
So this meeting that we have on Tuesday nights gives an opportunity in the second half I have a psychologist come on there, a counselor, and they get to preferably let down their hair and talk about these issues. A lot of men are walking around with PTSD and they're angry about different things, and it's a straw that breaks the camel back, but inside they haven't seen their child that they've come to love in 2 years and 4 years and 8 years or even longer. And this gives them an opportunity to talk to other men that experienced it and get them focused on what they can do to change it for themselves and their kid.
That's awesome. What do you say? What do women say about what you're doing?
So very, very interesting. I thought that I would have some rebuff from women, but we have women come to the Good Dad Act Committee meeting. When we see them get on the screen, we let them in.
We do.
And we have some sisters of these men. We have some grandmothers. When a couple breaks up and one parent or the other decides to take the child from the other parent, they've lost a legacy because on the other side, there's aunts and there's uncles and there's cousins, there's grandparents. And in Florida and many other states, there's no such thing as grandparents' rights. So if you don't get to see your grandbaby because the couple are not getting along, then the grandparent loses out on that legacy. The child loses out on the legacy. So we've had grandparents come on there because they have a son that's having this issue. They're trying to get help for him. Or even a wife. I've had wives come on. I'm like, where's your husband? Well, he's at work, but I'm the stepmother. And I know that my husband is hurting because he can't see his son or he can't see his daughter. So we give them advice and shepherd them through the program. I have a couple that come on every Tuesday that the husband and wife, he has in a previous relationship, he had a problem and he's fighting to see his son, and the wife is there helping him because, it's challenging doing this, and people have different educational levels, different social backgrounds that prohibit them from doing things on their own and without the support. They say behind every good man is a good woman. That is true because we need each other. We weren't put in this world to be unequal. We were put in the world to be for equality to an extent. We're not equal. We're different. But we're different for a reason.
I get it.
So I have women that come and even if you look at our social media, I don't have women bashing what we're doing. We've had one or two outlayers say, "Oh, he hasn't been involved with my child for 6 years. Now he gets to have 50% rights. This is not fair." Blah blah blah. She's angry for whatever she's angry for, but by and large, they come up to me. They're happy when I do my book signings. They come, "Listen, I'm so happy that you're doing this because when I was a child, my mother kept me from my dad, and it wasn't right. I'm not going to do that." Or they'll come up to me and said that their boyfriend has an issue and they're trying to help him, or their brother have an issue. It's a lot.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you want family, you want peace. We all desire peace. And you want what's best for your child, whether it's it's Ethan in this case, but young ladies, having that balance, just what a good father can offer outside. Thank you for the vision and for being willing to help so many. You have, and you have in other ways as well. You are vice president of.
I'm vice chairman of the board of trustees of Florida Memorial University. It's an undergraduate, 4-year degree, HBCU, Historical Black College and University, the only one in South Florida. I was a student there.
Okay.
I was student body president when I graduated, and now I've become a member of the board of trustees, and just recently became the vice chairman of the board. And the role there is to help provide governance for the university and help provide direction for those thousands of students that matriculate through to move on to be better something in life. So I get to help fundraise. It's a volunteer thing. I get to fundraise and do things like help develop a program and introduce it to the university to have students throughout the continent of Africa take online courses in the United States from Africa. They don't come here. They take them. First year, they'll get a diploma. Second year, they get a certificate. Then the third year, they get a high certificate. And in the fourth year, they'll get a dual degree between Florida Memorial University and the South Africa Graduate Institute of Financial Sciences. And they'll be able to be uplifted in their own community and do more for the continent of Africa. Africa is such a very resourceful continent, and we have such rich history with Africa. The fact that Florida Memorial University was born out of a time when Blacks weren't allowed to go to school. So some church leaders got together in the Swanee River in Augustine, Florida, and created a school to educate young Blacks so that they could be better. And then years later, when they moved to Miami, Florida from St. Augustine in 1968, because of racial turmoil, where they woke up and people were being lynched, being killed, and being threatened, so they'd leave town. Africa has that same history. So here, after apartheid, after the great works of Mandela and Reverend Leon Sullivan, here we have an opportunity to give back to our homeland and then share through education. So I'm very big on that. And it's just great to see that my life's work, I feel like a consummate professional because now I'm doing the things that have been my desire in my heart to help. And I'm able to give back to my community. I wrote a book called Ethan's Good Act about this ordeal. And I shared the story in the book about what I went through dealing with mediation and dealing with the courts and dealing with the law and how I got the law passed, and not only my story, but these dads that came in the beginning, and things that they went through and how it changed their lives. And now a lot of them have 50-50 timeshare with their kid. And it's just a phenomenal thing to see the resilience of people, and how if one person can make a difference. You can be down in the pits for what's going on with you, but just know that if you put your mind to it and do the right 2 or 3 things.
Yeah. I love that. The 2 or 3 things,
Yeah, not just one.
not the big thing and eating the elephant. And, it's probably not the, but taking the whole chunk. 1 or 2 things. 1 or 2 things.
And you'd be surprised what difference one person can make.
Yeah,
it just takes one person to do something different. Because I never thought that I'd be writing a law and then getting this thing into my head. So you're not only going to do it in Florida, you can do it all 50 states.
And overseas.
In 2 years, I got 6 states going with the law. In
2 years?
In 2 years. It's only been 2 years.
It's aggressive. That means it was timely. We talked about that. I asked you why did you make a difference? Because from what we had talked, you mentioned other people said that they tried to do something like this.
Yeah, there's other groups in Atlanta. There's a Fathers Matter of Atlanta group. This gentleman by the name Mark Lugberg. He's renowned in the industry, family court industry, trying to what they call change the law across the country to have equal parenting, called equal parenting. And he said, called me to congratulate me what I've done in Florida. He said, how did you do it? And how long did it take you? I said, it took me 8 months. He goes, how did you do it? I said, well, I just put one foot in front of the other and just made it happen. I, told him how, told him basically what I went through, counted the legislature. He's like, man, we've been working on this for 10 years. And I said, how many laws have you changed? Oh, we haven't changed any yet. But since the Good Dad Act, it's sort of spread now, because I see on social media more fathers groups pop up. I see more videos about dads doing things collectively, overtly, openly.
We need that. Yeah. I mean, and this is the message, really. Go ahead, keep going. I'm excited.
Pennsylvania just had a press conference. Some legislators over there that they're trying to do a shared parenting law in that state. Some states have been pretty good. Nevada has an equal parenting law already in the books. It's not called the Good Dad Act. It's already been there, but they pretty much look at the parents equal. And some states say that they do that, but it's not in practice. And then Florida, child support is tied to overnight visitation.
Okay.
So the more overnights one parent has versus the other, then it changes the dynamics of how much you pay based upon how much income you have, like that. In some states, it doesn't matter what you say, how much time you have, you're required to pay child support to this other spouse, which, I have a lot of dads that are like, they can't live. They're paying more than 70% of their income to child support. So they give up.
Big thing, yeah.
They give up, because if I'm working and I can't take care of myself, and I'm paying this other person that has another relationship and have the kids and have everything, they got the house, they got the car, they took everything from me, they want me to die.
How do you live?
So I'm just not going to do anything. And then
your organization helps.
That's a problem too, because you miss $5,000 of the child support, you lose your driver's license. This is one dad, he lost his driver's license because he didn't pay the child support, lost his job and couldn't pay. He was behind, but he had to drive because he had to work. Got caught driving again. Became a habitual offender for driving without a license. Went to jail for 5 years.
Oh, no.
Came out of jail. During that time, he had questions whether or not it was his child, but couldn't afford an attorney to fight it. So finally, he was able to get a DNA test, go to court, and come to find out the kid's 24 years old. The kid is not his. The mother's in court, and the judge says, "Did you know that he was not the father?" She says, "Yeah, I knew." "Well, why didn't you do something? Why didn't you say something?" "Well, I needed the child support."
Wow.
So 5 years later, kid's not his, lost his job, lost his other relationship, went to jail, got a record, and the mother who did that, it was not a crime.
It's not a crime.
Not a crime to lie to say that he's the dad when he's not.
And you
didn't have to pay the money back. She gets to walk away, and this man's life is ruined.
And then the emotional, the relationship.
Imagine 24-year-olds like, I thought this was my dad the whole time.
Exactly.
Who's my dad?
This is like a snowball.
If you go to our Instagram, there's some videos on it on our Facebook page. That's Facebook is Good Dad Act, facebook.com/Good Dad Act. And we have some different things on there. Our our gooddadact.com website, you'll at the bottom you'll see our Instagram will have different posts from different people talking about the fatherhood and good dad. And then the book, it's a good book. It was ranked #1 on Amazon
Yes.
in child development and divorce and family law.
Oh, great.
And I'm told that the book has helped a lot of people go through the book, and they come on my Tuesday night program and say, listen, you saved me from, I was going to commit suicide. And I came to your program, and then I got your book, and it changed my life. That feels good.
Yeah.
That feels good that I helped him.
That's major.
Makes you want to just do more.
And in fact, Les Brown,
before I wrote the book, I happened to also be the president of the Biscayne Gardens Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And built a relationship with Les Brown over the years. And so when this happened to me, I wrote the book and I said, Les, will you endorse the book? He said, well, Bernard, I went through the same thing too.
Wow.
I've been paying an exorbitant amount of child support when my child growing up. My child's older now, my Les Brown Jr. I went through the same thing, paid child support and couldn't get no time with my kid, whatever. And it was hurtful.
Yeah.
So he's really proud of me for what I've done. He's been a mentor of mine now. And he endorsed the book. He put a passage in there.
Awesome.
And he talked about it in his program. I really appreciate him. And also Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy is another renowned speaker. He speaks before Fortune 100 companies. He wrote a passage in the book. And a young lady, her name is Madison McKeon. She wrote a passage in the book and endorsed the book. She's a what do you call it? Social influencer. She has a podcast called The Alienation Project.
Okay.
And when she became adult, she realized that when a strained relationship with her father, that she realized that her mother kept her from her father. Her mother lied to her about what the relationship was with her father. It wasn't until she became an adult and found out that she was lied to, and she missed out on her whole life and legacy with her father on the other side of the family. And she's dedicated her life to stop parental alienation, which is what it is when you withhold the child from the other parent and do things divisively to destroy the relationship with that child and their parent.
Yeah.
The legal word is alienation. I actually submitted a piece of legislation to go through the Florida legislature this year again, called legislation to address parental alienation and paternity fraud, to help put a stop to that.
Paternity fraud.
Paternity fraud is when someone makes the allegation that the other person is the father.
Oh, okay.
When they're not.
When they're not.
And you knew they were not. That it should be a crime, because it's terrible.
How's it going for you?
Well, it's in the process now. It's only starting, the session starting, so we'll see.
Yeah, but that's something that you have in your heart to
yeah.
continue.
I submitted last year and it died. It died in the first couple committees last year for whatever reason. So hopefully it'll come back up this year and I'll be able to have a good story to tell next year.
Yeah,
and
me too.
For domestic violence, the false allegations, it's terrible. A lot of lawyers, we have recordings of lawyers telling their client, okay, we have a hearing next month in family court. You need to go this week and file a domestic violence allegation. It doesn't matter when you're saying.
They're telling the
mom,
the power.
Yeah, do it. And you can go to court and say, oh,
they're telling them this?
Yeah, 3 months ago, he screamed at me and he scared at me, and then he was talking to me this weekend the same way, and I'm scared of him, and I need a restraining order. DV court is not based upon the facts, it's based upon how you feel. So if you recite that you feel a certain way, who's to say that you don't feel that way? So in abundance of caution, the judge will give an automatic stay away for at least 15 days in Florida. And in the 16th day, you have a hearing, you got to go before the court. The father doesn't show up, and he was served, and he get a restraining order 6 months or more. If he shows up and he shows any kind of anger or any kind of angst against the mom or talking back, or the judge sees him, says his demeanor is not right, the judge will give him a restraining order.
Yeah.
Restraining order court is criminal court. Family court is family court.
Okay.
So the judge in the family court, if there's a case going on in criminal court, they're not going to make a decision in family court in favor of the father having timeshare, because they don't know what the ramification in abundance of caution is in the DV court. if you have a terminal license, if you're a lawyer, a doctor, a police officer, I have police officers call me all the time crying on the phone that their and their girlfriend had an argument and she went and said that he has a gun. Well, he's got his gun taken away. He's on desk duty. And if he doesn't get off desk duty because he's not doing his hours, he's going to lose his job as a police officer, mediator, any kind of terminal real estate agent. If you have a false allegation for man or woman, false allegation against you, and it's you get the restraining order against you, you got to go before your governing board to determine whether or not you can keep your license.
Right, right. Any type of license. And this is the next piece of legislation that you are working to get
passed.
Yeah.
Not to stop people who legitimately have a reason to go get help in the Great Seal of State of Florida. Please help me. This person's wiped out their mind.
Because we know it's there,
but to stop the abuse of the system. And if you go in there one time, fully on you. Second time, fully on me. But third time, why are you still in the presence of this person? Why you need to be in fear of your life? Because you have, you've gone to court and thrown out. The second time, like, what are you doing? Like, why? What is the argument? And it should be a misdemeanor where you have to do community service and, looked at a little differently so that we want it to be a deterrent. Don't make a false allegation.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. For sure. Especially for someone to use it the way they used it. Wow. We've talked about a lot. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Well, we're looking to help fathers in a lot of states. We're in Texas now. We don't have, there's a gentleman by the name of Garza that's been doing a lot for fathers' rights in Texas. But even Texas, the books say that you go to court and it's in the best interest of the child, but they don't recognize a full-fledged rights of fathers even in the state of Texas.
Okay.
So it needs to change in Texas. We're looking for fathers in each state. I have a dad in Indiana. I have a dad in Arizona. I have a dad in Michigan. I have a dad in New York. A dad in Georgia. Many states, 16 states. North Carolina. But we need dads in California. We just recently got contacted by a dad in Wisconsin. I need a dad in North Dakota, South Dakota, every state.
How did they become dads? You're calling them dads because it's just become a movement. How did they become a dad?
So to get a law passed, the first thing you have to recognize that a state representative has a body of constituents in their community that are coming to them. And if they're not coming to them, they have to help those constituents.
Okay.
Me being in Florida, and I contact a state representative, even in Texas on my own, and say, listen, I need you to pass this law in Texas because there's people in your community that need this. Sure. Which people in my community?
Yeah.
I got people in my community coming to me. Nobody said anything about that. So I need a dad in that community to speak on behalf of what I do is I take the proposal I wrote in Florida and I attach their name to it as a co-sponsor, and then I submit it to that state representative.
This dad.
Figure out who their state representative